Yeah.
Okay, so I gotta get my list. Facial recognition.
An extension of that, I guess. Not an extension. I don't know what I'm talking about. Cut all
I
that
don't know
out.
what I'm talking about.
We were really in sync there. It was impressive.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Foster the Meeple, a channel all about
BGs.
and
BGTs.
Exactly. Do you guys know what BGTs are?
Board games. Board gamey things.
There you go. We are here again today with another episode of Board Games and Brew. I don't have my mug, my Boardroom Game Cafe mug. However, my mug has Winnie the Pooh on it and Piglet too. We are here today to do a video all about little things that we love about board games. Just want to feel good videos, you know? I don't know how many we have. We'll keep going until I think it's too long. Then maybe if we have too many, we'll have to do it again. Because there's a lot of things that I love about board games.
Agreed.
I wonder if we're going to have crossover.
Possibly.
Probably. These are just random things that we enjoy in general about board gaming, the board game hobby, and board games themselves. So the first thing that I have on my list is the way that azul tiles feel in my hands.
Oh, you went specific.
Some of them are specific.
I didn't go specific
Some of them
at all.
are quite broad. Azul tiles or Project L. Do you guys know what I mean if you played Azul? They're like these chonky tiles. They're like hefty. They're soft.
They have that feel to them.
They got that
Yeah, I don't
feel
know.
to
I don't
them.
know what it is.
Playing Azul in person is always, it's just like generally such a fun thing because you get to like, you know, you play with the tiles.
Yeah, I love those.
And they make these little clinky sounds when they clink together. And I love that. And it makes me really happy. And that is my first thing.
I don't have that on my list.
What?
But
Does it make you
I have
happy?
something somewhat similar because it's a similar concept.
Yeah.
I have the feel of dice in my hand.
Oh, yeah.
So I think it's the same thing. I think I'm a very sensory person. Taste, smell, feel. Yeah, it would extend to Azul pieces and Project L pieces and stuff. I like when they're in my hand and I have a bunch, I like to like play with them and like roll them around in my palms. Like I just love how that feels on my skin. And
Yep.
I know that's probably weird, but
It's not weird.
here we are.
The other day I was in a meeting. This is just a side note. And we had dice on the table and everybody was, you know, what people do in meetings. They just talk and talk and talk. So I had a dice on the table and I was rolling it in my hands the whole time. It was almost like a little fidget toy. Well, since we're on the dice theme, another thing for me is chonky dice. The dice from Rolling Realms and from Dinosaur Island and Dinosaur World, they're so like, they're real thick. And I like that about them. And they're just fun to roll because they're so big. Love a good chonk dice.
This next one for me is kind of a two-parter. I love when this fabricates itself in two different ways. You either get like a perfect dice roll.
Yeah.
Like usually at the end of a game to like, or a big turn that if you don't get it, you're like dead or you're going to lose. Like that big dice roll that you're like, oh, in Cthulhu Death May Die, and you need like a certain thing, or like Mansions of Madness, and it's like, oh, frig. Same deal, but like in engine builders, when like you just have this insane combo, and you're just like dink, 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 and everything comes together, and you're just like, boom, yep, and then that does this, and then that does this, and then you're like, and that does that, and everyone's like, what?
What?
Like, I just, those big moments, like in innovation, when it's like, oh, I'm turning this and just blowing everything up, and it's just like, what? Like, I just love those moments.
Yeah. The next thing on my list is when player colors aren't just primary colors. Like, if I'm given more options other than red, blue, yellow, green,
that is, I can
orange,
attest to that. That is a thing.
It drives me insane. Like, hello, there's a whole rainbow out there. Not even just a rainbow, there's like everything. When there's a nice little purple or like an aqua or a pink or something, like a fun color. You know what? There should be more rainbow meeples. I'm just saying it. Because like if you can't pick a color, you can have one that has all the colors. That'd be amazing. If I ever made a game, rainbow meeples for everyone.
Next up for me is hate drafting. I love a good hate draft.
Yeah.
I don't mean it at, you know, the end of a game when it doesn't matter and you're just being a dink. I mean like when it's mid-game, you have the ability to kind of hate draft without hindering your own progress, like in King Domino or like in Res Arcana with like the artifacts, thank you. Stuff like that. You've seen what someone's going to do.
Jeff is classic for doing this.
You've seen what someone's going to do. And they don't know that you know to some degree. And then you take the thing they need. It's just, I love it. I love it so much. It's such a good feeling because then they're like, ah! And like, hopefully it doesn't turn into like an argument. But
Or hopefully it does.
But when it's fun and friendly and, you know, it's just like one of those competitive pieces that Jamie and I get ourselves into. I think we both enjoy it.
I love hate drafting.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't seen us draft the top 100 games from Board Game Geek with the Table Nuts guys, my very first pick was a hate draft towards Jeff. So Scythe, and I do love Scythe. It's a fantastic game. I love it probably more than Jeff does, to be honest.
Who uses the number one pick to hate draft?
Jamie does.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there it is. Another thing that I love is the first time that you get to unbox a board game.
I knew you were going to say this.
And you take the wrapper off like it's Christmas, and then you get to punch everything out, and then you get to kind of like look at all the components. And then another fun part of that is that Juno, our husky, loves the cardboard piece that all the pieces sit in. And so she'll sit there and she'll wait and she'll look at you, and then we give that to her, and so she likes to shred it. And it's just like this whole thing. So as soon as we get a game, I'll like take them to the couch, I'll sit down, I'll open them, I'll throw trash everywhere, and Jeff loves it. It's just like, I just love that.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I like to obviously open up games too. And sometimes I'll be like, hey, do you mind if I open that one up? And Jamie's always like, yeah, sure. But I'm at the point now where like she enjoys it so much, way more than me, that I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Like if you want to open it up, go ahead. It doesn't really bother me that much.
Yeah.
So I knew that was going to be on your list.
I literally like just plop myself on the couch and I'm surrounded by games and I'm just like,
yeah.
Fun.
Next one for me, it's when you're so into a game and into the whole experience that you're all sharing at a table, whether it's just Jamie or I, or, you know, four of us, or if we're playing BGA with friends. But when you lose sense of time and space.
Yeah.
When you're so into the moment, you're so into the conversation, you're so into the game that you look at the clock and it's like, oh, it's been 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it's felt like 20 minutes, not 20 hours. That's when I can sit back and be like, yep, that's why I'm into this. You know, where everyone's just meshing and you're just enjoying a collective experience.
This next thing is playing with people where it's their first time playing a game and they are having the best time ever. Like the best time ever. We had this experience with Lance from Lancelot Games playing Arnak, and he was like giddy playing this game, and we had already played it like 10 times.
I didn't even pay attention to the game. I was only
just like,
absorbing his enjoyment.
Like literally, he was like, I could do this. Like, this is so cool. Like, he was so excited that it makes you be like, man, this is why we love this hobby. Because like, if you can introduce someone to a new game and they immediately like, they love it, they're having a great time, like that is so fun. And we had kind of the same experience with Billy and Michelle playing Res Arcana. Now we play with them all the time and we still all like have such a great time playing it. But like, I love those moments where, you know, even if you're like, oh, you know, this is a game we've played a bunch, whatever, and then you play with somebody who loves it and you're like, oh, okay, no,
like,
this is,
not saying obviously Michelle doesn't love Res Arcana, because she does, but I remember after the first game of Res Arcana, and Billy was like over the moon about it. Yeah, so those experiences, I agree. So interestingly enough, we have our first crossover at the exact same time. My next one was the face of someone new to the hobby when they've experienced something incredible for the first time. And just like Jamie stated, we've had this happen a few times recently, somewhat recently in the last few months. And those moments are the ones that really ground me and us to why we are doing this. And then it really makes you think about the times where you might get frustrated during a game or whatever. And it's like, you know, is that worth it? And it goes into this whole other conversation of experience versus game and that sort of thing. So I absolutely love when people find something they love and when they find a game what they love. Yeah, it's really cool to be a part of that.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we have those moments where literally like 10 minutes into a game, either Jeff or I will be like, I love this game. I love this game. What was the game? Oh, Vast.
Can we stop him? How do we stop you?
Yeah, it's game over. He just won.
I just died in your arms tonight.
That's Vast.
I love this game.
Oh, what, you won?
Yep.
That was fun.
2-0.
Undefeated. Like, I was
Vast,
sitting there and I was like, I love it. I was reading the rule book and I was like, Jeff, I love this game. And we hadn't even played it yet. Next thing on my list is when I want to learn a new game. And I learn best, I both read the rule book and watch videos. Sometimes there's not a video. So it's my favorite thing ever when I go to the TV and type in how to play, and there's a how to play video on Watch It Played from Rodney or on Before You Play with Monique and Naveen. I learn the best from those two channels, and as soon as I type it in and I see one of them has a video about that game, I'm immediately like, thank God, because it just helps me learn so much. So I am very appreciative of really everybody who puts out a how to play video on a game. Those two channels in particular are ones that I gravitate towards, but I've watched a ton, like Ambi, she puts out how to plays and they're great. And I just think like the people that make how to plays and the ones that do it well, it's so helpful.
I don't know how they do it.
It's so helpful for so many people who learn differently. And especially for me, like I said, I'll read the rule book, but then I also want to see it. So if I can get the double whammy of both, even better.
Love them double whammies.
It's always just fun to be like, how to play, and then boop, you see it, you're like, yes.
All right, guys, so I guess a lesson to take away from this, Rodney, Monique, Naveen, Ambi, etc. We need you to go back to about 2001 and do a tutorial video on every game.
If you could do that
ASAP.
That would make us happy as well.
Yeah, so thank you in advance.
Thank you in advance.
Next one for me, I'm going to briefly say this because it's kind of similar to what Jamie mentioned about opening the box. I really like getting my hands on the minis. Like, I love miniatures. Obviously, I've done a painting video. I love miniatures. I love details. I love looking at them. I love seeing them. That's basically it.
That's usually the first thing that Jeff
normally if Jamie's like opening up a box and she's punching stuff out, I'm like beelining for the miniatures. I love the banter of a close game. I adore it. The last night we were playing a game with Michelle and Billy. Did we play Res last night or the night before?
It was last night, yeah.
So we just played a game of Res Arcana with Billy and Michelle. We mentioned this.
Second Star to the Left. Go check them out. They're amazing.
Million times.
Million times, and I'll say it a million times more.
And Billy and I are always very close in this game, and she's won the last two, and I'm rattled about it. When you're in a game where it's like 1 turn, 2 turns away from someone winning, and you just start chirping. You just start the banter. I love banter in games in general, especially with close friends and stuff where it doesn't get misconstrued as being mean or angry or whatever.
Everybody show your clues. Interesting. We got casserole, obviously. And
Did you even spell casserole correctly?
It's number 1.
What's
How do you not know what it is?
That's not even how you spell casserole.
Casserole.
I don't know.
I love it. I love that tabletop banter. It's so fun. It's my personality type, and it enhances everything for me.
And to piggyback on that, when you have people like Jeff and Billy who are like, you know, whatever, talking like, and then you're the person that no one is expecting to win, which has happened for both Michelle and I. They're just kind of like, I'm going to win and I'm doing this. And then suddenly you get a bunch of points. You're like, wait a second, where did you get all those points? Because they weren't paying attention to you the whole time. So I like those moments too, when it's kind of like that underdog moment where like, I'm not going to win, no way. And then suddenly you're like, well, actually, I think I might.
Jason, Jamie's brother, has used this to his advantage many times. He knows that I love the banter and that I like to like take little digs at Jamie and Zach and etc. So he'll actually play all of us off of that and be like, yeah, Jeff, blah, blah, blah. Jeff, look at Jeff, look at Jeff. And then he always wins.
Yeah.
And we never learn our lessons. So we've mentioned that before, but this is a bit of a weird one. The sound of dice hitting the side of a wooden dice tray. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Like that wooden kind of hollow sound, just brings me joy. ASMR, like I could probably I could listen to that all day. Like I love that sound, and I actually have decided that when we go to PAX, I'm going to try and find a nice wooden dice tray. Yeah.
Oh, here's a good one. When you know a game so well that you do not need to look at the rule book at all.
Just take it out and play.
I love that. Like you just take it out and you play. You don't need to look how to set up. You don't know how many cards people get. You don't need to check the rule book. You just know it so well that you could just put it out, play, have a great time. Wingspan is definitely one of those.
Domino.
King Domino is one of those.
Yeah.
Azul is one of, there's a bunch of games that it's just like, there's no stress. It's just, let's put it out and play. I freaking love that feeling.
I only have 2 left. I love, and we do this quite frequently, not so much lately, but I would like to do it more next year, full game days where all you do is stop to eat, where everyone's engaged, everyone's committed to doing that, and you're just playing games from dusk till dawn.
And everyone's having fun.
Everyone's having fun, and you order some food, you have some snacks around. It's just, that brings me a lot of joy.
Yes.
A lot of joy.
And the food is equally important to the games.
Equally, if not more important.
Because then we don't get hangry.
Hanger is a real thing in this hobby.
Yes.
And it has come out in this household
many times.
Many times.
When
it's like, are you mad at the game or are you hungry? And it's like, I'm hungry.
Yeah. The last board game weekend, we were playing Unicorn Fever, and I hadn't eaten since breakfast.
And she was a nightmare.
I was like, I think the video might already be out. If not, it's coming out. But like, you'll see it on my face. I'm literally miserable.
Yeah.
Playing Unicorn Fever. Like, who's miserable playing Unicorn Fever?
Yeah.
I was, because I was hungry. This one is one that I really love. And that is making up a silly house rule to enhance a game. Like how we yell Camel Up when we play Camel Up. That's Brew Baby. Yep. Every time that you screw somebody over in Brew, that's Brew Baby.
That's Brew Baby.
Like, and it's not so much a house rule. I don't know if it's really, well, the Camel Up thing to us is a house rule.
Yeah, if you play Camel Up in our house, you have to do that.
You have to yell Camel Up when you make the pyramid spit out dice from its butthole. Camel Up.
Camel up.
I didn't yell it.
Camel up. Camel up. Camel up.
But
Red 3. Oh, I wanted to land on my
red two.
Yeah, I just love those things because I feel like it's more interactive. It gets people kind of like hyped up and more engaged in the game because like when we play Camel Up, no one's looking at their phone.
No.
Like nobody is looking at their phone.
Yeah.
Everybody is like excited and they're standing up and
and the Brew Baby thing actually was a product of when Danielle and Max came to visit from Table Knots.
Yeah.
I don't know how it happened. We were just playing Brew and
Somebody
someone attacked someone and it was like, that's Brew Baby.
That's Brew Baby.
And then it just became a thing. And now, like, it's come up in other games where that sort of thing happens where it's like a little bit take that-y.
Yeah.
Even if we're not playing Brew. Like, and if, obviously Danielle and Max aren't here, we'll be playing games with like Zach or Jason's like, that's Brew Baby.
That's Brew Baby.
We could be playing Res Arcana. We could be playing Seasons. We could play something else.
Yeah.
That's Brew Baby.
That's Brew Baby.
It's like becomes synonymous with
tough.
Tough
luck.
Tough luck.
That's Brew Baby.
Yeah,
I love that.
My last one, I think is going to surprise you a little bit.
I'm ready.
And I don't think we've gotten to experience this as much as I want to. I'm actually looking forward to this a lot. And we have the benefit of living in a place that makes this possible. When it's snowy out and shitty out, like super snowy, blizzardy, there's no power.
No power.
All you have is the fireplace on, and you just got like Azul. You're just playing Azul, patchwork.
It's a hobby
cozy,
that you can do everywhere.
You're cozied up inside, you're warm. You know outside sucks and it's cold.
Outside sucks.
And the animals are all sleeping.
Yeah.
Like it's just calm.
And you got a wooden dice tray.
But you know what I mean? Like that puzzly game inside when it's nice and warm and cozy around the holidays.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like just in general, like you could literally play board games anywhere. There's a board game where you can play. There's a board game that you can play in a freaking hot tub. Apparently.
Yeah.
Too Many Bones.
Too Many Bones, apparently.
Who knew? You know, the power is out, board games.
People
Traveling,
are gonna be like, what?
Board games. Cottage.
I know. It's
no internet, board games.
It's such a perfect...
It's the perfect hobby.
It is.
And we are not biased at all. Okay, I have a couple of more, and I think some of these are actually I'm just going to go through them quickly because I know that they're for both of us. Number one is when a game box gives you room for the expansions inside when they think ahead.
Yeah, a good insert too.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Game trays inside of a box. Extra baggies.
Fantasy flight games.
Extra baggies inside of a box because like we have a drawer of extra baggies and we're like, this is ridiculous. But it's not ridiculous because I just had to use 3 of them today for another game that didn't provide any baggies.
I have one more.
Now that's ridiculous. That's definitely
I have one more.
Okay, go for it.
Painted minis.
When they come painted?
No, like...
Oh, okay. I was like, but then you don't get to paint them. Painting
No,
minis.
like I don't want to get into me painting, but like I love the way a game is enhanced by painted miniatures.
Yes.
It's night and day.
The next one is getting a personal high score in a game. Or not that we track our scores so much, but like when you know that you did really well. And you're
like in Fantasy Realms.
This is the best I've ever done. And then the last thing I have is my love and appreciation when a board game has put reference cards in their components. Because if you don't, you should. Because having a reference card is
iconography.
Like, it's like literally a brain saver. It's a lifesaver because if I have to keep looking in the dang rule book every 10 minutes for something that could be on a little card, I'm not going to have as good of a time. So I really appreciate when publishers.
And it doesn't even
or
have to be
designers
it doesn't
do
even
that.
have to be one for every player. Like even if there's a big one that everyone can just share around, like
Sure, but I prefer one for every player. Those are some of the little things that we love about board games and board gamey things like the hobby.
BGTs.
We would love to know down below what some of your favorite little things
Yeah, we'll probably
are.
end this and be like, oh, what about this? And
Yeah.
what about that? What
And
about that?
maybe, you know, down the road, sometime next year, maybe we'll do another one of these because
Yeah,
I'm
maybe
sure
it's
we
changed.
forgot a ton. But yeah, let us know down below some of the things that you really enjoy, like those little things that can just be taken for granted sometimes, I
Yep.
think. If you are interested in buying board games and board gaming things, the best place to start looking is your friendly local gaming store. And for us here in Halifax, that is...
Boardroom Game Cafe.
It sure the heck is.
I wanted to do finger guns. I don't know why. But...
Oh, well, you got your chance.
Just
You did it. That's all that we have for you guys today. So thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see,
Please subscribe.
we hope to see you again soon.
And now we say goodbye.
So long, farewell, avida, say adieu.
Later days.
Later days to you and you and you. Boop, 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 boop. Oh my god, you took such a deep breath. I thought you were going to yell. All right, let's do that again. The right way this time. How embarrassing. Maybe we'll cut that one out. It doesn't recognize my face. Yes, it is.
You want to do that again?
Yes, I do.